Hey Dad, are you going into family court trying to get more time with your kids and you're frustrated and you're feeling abused and the judge doesn't want to listen to you and they only want to hear the lies the other side is saying? Here's 3 best things you can do going into family court to set yourself up for success. The first one is have a flexible work schedule. Now that's not going to work for everybody and I know that. But the reality is if you want to be there for your kid, you might have to change your work schedule. It's one of the biggest things you can do to convince a judge, A, that you're making the kids a priority, B, that you're willing to do what it takes to be there for your kids. Work is a huge thing, and yeah, you're going to have to work, but maybe there's a way around it. A lot of employers these days are willing to work with parents and have flexible times, flexible schedules. There's hybrid work from home, depending on what your work is. If you can do it, it's one of the best things you can do to get more time with your kids is to prove to the judge you're flexible in your schedule so that you can deal with what the kids need done. Because a lot of times mom's going to come into court and say, I'm the part-time worker because I'm the one who's available for the kids and he has to go work full-time. Well, if you can now have a flexible work schedule, there's no reason mom can't go work full-time. The second thing is you've got to change where you're living. You have to be close to where the kids go to school. I know it's a hard thing for a lot of people, but the reality is if you're close to where the kids go to school, you're much more likely to get what you want from the judge. Why? Judges don't like kids spending a lot of time in cars doing commuting. So if you're living 20 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour maybe away from the kids go to school, you're doing good. If you're an hour and a half away, you're not going to get a 50-50 schedule. You're not going to get a week on, week off, a 2-2-3. It's just not going to happen for you because you're too far away. No judge is going to allow a child, no matter their age, to be in a car for an hour and a half a day each way to go to school to give you a 50% custody timeshare. You have to be close to where the kids go to school. I know that's not a good answer for a lot of people, but it's the reality of what has to happen in family court. And the third thing is you got to become a recording artist. Dad, you've got to start documenting everything. Because trust me, mom's coming into court with everything. She knows every fact about you, every time you were ever 5 minutes late, every time you were ever did anything wrong. It's all in a logbook somewhere in her brain about what you've done and it's going to be used against you if it can be used against you. You need to start playing that similar game of documenting everything. Now, I'm not saying you got to remember all the little details about what's going on in her life because, frankly, we're not that concerned anymore. What we are concerned with is what's the time you're spending with the kids. You have to document the time. You have to document what you're doing. You have to have video if possible, photos if possible. One of the big things I tell guys is get a body camera. If you're going to be doing exchanges and you're in a high conflict situation, you need to have a body camera. They're cheap, they're easy to use, they're accessible. Anybody can have a body camera these days. It's $40 on Amazon. Very, very crucial information can be had. Most states you're allowed to videotape for the exchanges, either to make sure that no violence happens or for self-defense or to prove that there's domestic violence going on. So there's lots of exceptions to the rules that allow you to videotape in public when you're doing the exchanges to make sure that you're there to prove you actually did the visits or more importantly to prove mom wasn't there to do the visits. The other big issue is email. Email is a great tool to document what's really going on. And one of the ones we use a lot is Our Family Wizard. It's a paid service that allows people to have archived emails. And an archived email means once it's sent, it cannot be changed. And why is that important? Because in family law, people will change emails they've sent so that they don't say what they said. I know that seems hard to believe, but trust me, it's happened. It's why the service exists. It's ourfamilywizard.com. It's about $9 or $10 a month. It allows you to have archived emails. It also allows you to have a schedule so that you guys can swap days. It allows you to track expenses so that you can put up a receipt for, let's say, a medical copay that mom hasn't paid. And when she does pay it, it gets noticed that, okay, she's paid that one and she only owes you X amount of dollars now. There's another service called Talking Parents, which we also use for documenting emails. That's a free service until you need to print the emails. And then I think it's like $9 to download all of your emails in a giant PDF. Great service, very, very cost effective. It's only for email. It doesn't do the scheduling. It doesn't do the tracking of expenses, but it's a very useful tool. And I highly recommend both of those, Our Family Wizard and Talking Parents for Dads. And lastly, your text messages. If you're texting with somebody, I highly recommend that you either take a screenshot of that text message, turn it into a picture, or use a software that'll allow you to download and back up all of those text messages. Why do I say that? Because I've had the client who got into a text war with his ex, all of the nasty messages going back and forth, him to her to him, all the ugliness happened. She went into court and had deleted all of her messages that were sparking him on. So it just looked like he had done nothing but sent a barrage of hundreds of text messages of, you're a horrible human being, I hate you, you're terrible, you're a bad mother, all of the negative stuff. None of her stuff was involved. So when a judge looked at it, a judge only saw one side of the argument. What's a judge going to think if they only see one side of the argument? Yeah, he's an ass. Had my client had photos of both sides of the argument, we would have been able to go into court and argue, Your Honor, wait a second here. This was not a one-sided argument. It takes two to tango. Here's what she was doing. We would have gotten a much different result. My client ended up with a restraining order against him because only his text messages were being used. Mom had deleted all of hers. You've got to be able to have that. He had foolishly deleted the text messages, so we didn't even have anything to go by. All we had was her evidence, which is why we didn't do well in that case. I really want you to, if you're going to delete stuff, take a picture of it before you delete it. It's crucial because if you're going to document, you need to have video, pictures, Our Family Wizard, a text message, or Talking Parents for emails and text messages. That way you can prove to a judge, A, you're a great dad, B, you're doing what you need to be doing, and C, maybe mom's a little bit abusive too in these situations. It's the most important stuff you can do, the best way you can prepare yourself if you're going into family court. If you want to learn more about this and how we help dads try to get more time with their kids, go check out dadslawschool.com. We have video courses, we have live meetups, we have trainings, we have sample documents, make it really easy for you to learn how to represent yourself going into family court. Have a great day, and remember, I think you're freaking awesome.